Now we're going to start getting into some of the wonderful historical resources available here at the Penrose Library. There are so many, especially in terms of primary source, digitized collections. It's going to be really tough for me to choose just a few to show you. But before we get into the primary source uh, databases and materials, I do want to show you America History and Life. And this is the primary database for secondary literature about historical topics. So journal articles, book chapters about immigration policy throughout the United States history, but not things that are contemporary, not historical in nature. These are going to be more recent journal articles about historical topics. So from the library's homepage, we're going to go into databases by subject, and we're going to go to the History American category. Here it is, America History and Life. This covers history in the United States and Canada. And Historical Abstracts is the database you would use for history outside of those countries. Journal article coverage and other resources back to 1964. And the best search strategies here for your particular projects are going to be to use the title of specific acts, policies, cases that you've identified in your reading, such as in your textbook, The Reluctant Welfare State. I'm also going to have some books that I'll put on reserve, and you'll be able to identify those from the research guide. There's one in particular. It's called U.S. Immigration, a Reference Handbook, and it has a nice chronology related to immigration policy from 1740 up through 2002. And that's on page 93. Again, that's in the book U.S. Immigration, a Reference Handbook, which will be on reserve for the class. So use chronologies, your textbook, your readings to identify specific policies and acts for the time period that you like to focus on. And then you can come into America History and Life and use those terms to search as keywords initially. You can also just use broader topical keywords such as undocumented immigrants, refugees, whatever terms that are going to be relevant, specific groups, Asians, Hispanics, whatever you want to use keywords for your particular topics. So I'm going to begin with a very specific search on the Chinese Exclusion Act. This was of 1882. So I'm going to use it as a keyword search, and I can limit it down here to peer-reviewed journal articles by checking that box. And I've got 96 results. EBSCO Platform, it looks similar to Social Work Abstracts. So I'm going to take advantage of those subject headings. And see here, I have one specifically for United States Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. And I'm going to select that. And now I have 55 that should be specifically about the Chinese Exclusion Act. There are a lot of books that are reviewed within America History and Life and Historical Abstracts. These can be great in terms of helping you identify books on your topic. Just pay attention, look for the subject heading books reviews. So if I go in here, I would see that this is reviewing the book Chinese American: The Politics of Race and Culture. Sounds like a great book, especially if I'm interested in this topic. I would look up that title in the library catalog to see if we had it. If you do not want to have book reviews listed in your results, you can go ahead and revise the search. So I'll come back to the advanced search. And right down here under document type, you're going to select article, and that will eliminate the reviews that are listed here. So select article, and I'll come back and limit to my specific subject heading. And so now I should just have journal articles in my results. Let's take a look at the seventh one. This is the Chinese exclusion example, race, immigration, and American gatekeeping from 1882 to 1924 in the Journal of American Ethnic History. 27 pages, so a nice lengthy article. I've got HTML and PDF full text options. I can see it's been cited twice, so I'd want to take a look at that. And I just want to show you, once you go into the record, that we would want to pay attention to the subject terms. Here are some others that would be great for our topic, so we might want to search on those individually or in combination. And within the notes field, it's telling me that this article was based on newspapers, federal statutes, other primary sources, and secondary sources. So when I get the full text of this article, I would look at that at the notes, and I would be able to identify some primary sources in addition to secondary sources on my topic. Because this is a history database, you'll see that frequently, and that's great in terms of helping you identify primary sources that are related. Okay, I'm going to come back and now show you, because this is a history database, you can specify your searches to particular historical periods. So I'm going to clear it, and I'm just going to look for refugees, truncate it, and I want peer-reviewed journal articles again. Here's where you can limit to historical period. Okay, here's the date range publication, but this is those articles that have been identified as being about a particular time period. So I'm interested in refugees within the 50s, so 1950 to 1960. I can give it whatever date range I want, and again choose articles to eliminate those book reviews. I've got 302, and I'm going to look at more of my subject heading options to narrow this down. I want to look specifically for those articles about government policy and refugees for this time period. And now I have 16. And let's take a look at number 4. Impetus for Immigration Reform, Asian Refugees in the Cold War, Journal of American East Asian Relations. I have a specific heading for the Immigration and Nationality Act amendments of 65. The abstract is letting me know, talking about immigration policy for Asians. And the McCarran-Walter Immigration and Nationality Act. The notes field is telling me what kinds of sources that were used, so I know I'll get citations for those in the reference list. No full text in this case, so check article linker again. And I want to show you this one because you'll see there's no option for full text. Okay, no download article, no way to go in through the journal and get this journal online. So the next step would be to see if we have the journal in print. This is becoming less relevant because of our new document delivery service. You can actually skip that step now if you'd like, and you can go directly to step number 3. You can request an article through interlibrary loan. So if we have it in print, especially the older journal volumes, we will scan it and send it to you by email through interlibrary loan request form. So you can get it online if that option is available, or you can go to request it through interlibrary loan. Once you have filled in or signed in with your ID and passcode into interlibrary loan, then it will fill out the form for you with all this information, which is really nice. The turnaround time for interlibrary loan is about 2 to 3 days, so it's fantastic. You find a great journal article. If we have it in print or not, request it through interlibrary loan, and most likely they will scan it and email it to you. Okay, other databases that are going to be great for finding secondary literature, articles about historical topics. Um, Within the education field, we have ERIC, sociological abstracts, which I mentioned earlier, academic search complete, which is good again for multidisciplinary topics. Just make sure that you limit your search in academic search complete to peer-reviewed journal articles. Just check a little box similar to what we just did. And I wanted to show you under databases by subject. So, any of these that seem like they might be relevant to you. There's Asian studies, for example. Um, Education, as I mentioned. I wanted to show you ethnic studies. Here's academic search completes in lots of different places. We have Ethnic News Watch to look for newspaper, magazine articles. So if your time period is more recent, from the 90s to forward, you could use this to find primary source newspaper articles about your topic from the time period you're focusing on. We also have Chicano database. This is great for, as it says, Mexican American topics. And we also have HAPI, Hispanic American Periodicals Index. Those are just some suggestions. Use those in combination with the social work databases and America History and Life to find secondary journal articles, book chapters about your historical topics.